Please welcome to the show, Caitlin Clark. Caitlin, did you ever
What's
think
up,
you'd
guys?
be back? Cheers.
Excited to be
Cheers.
back. Don't worry. I got this nice throwback Gatorade can.
Well played. Well played.
Sounded like a product placement.
Diana Taurasi just dropped a bombshell in her latest interview with Caitlin Clark, and guess what? Reality has finally hit her. Yep, you heard that right. The queen of trash talk and clutch shots is finally admitting that the game might just be catching up to her. But wait, is she ready to hand over the crown? Or is this just a sneak peek of the most legendary comeback in WNBA history? Trust us, this interview will leave you questioning everything.
And you said that Caitlin is going to go through a learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
Some people were critical of you for saying that, but I don't know that it necessarily meant that you're not welcoming to her, right? I mean, how do you I mean, it seems like you were just saying the reality is she's going to have a learning curve.
Yeah, you know, it's the new fans are really sensitive these days. You can't say anything. Yeah, you know, it's kind of like when you go from kindergarten or first grade, there's a learning adjustment. When you go from high school to college, there's a learning adjustment. You know, I don't think I said anything that wasn't factually correct. And like anything, greatness is going to translate. And she's proven that in every level. And I don't see it being any different in the WNBA.
Oh,
Congrats
man.
on your retirement, Z.
Thank you.
And congrats.
Now,
to you.
unfortunately,
Well,
reality
thanks.
is coming to me now.
What's your big plans?
in early.
What are you going to do?
You know, I keep telling Sue I thought I was going to have all this time to do all these things. I'm more busy now.
It all kicked off during a rare, unfiltered Zoom interview that was anything but your average let's talk about basketball and feel good segment. Caitlin Clark, Sue Bird, and Diana Taurasi, three legends of the game, were sharing a virtual space, and from the jump you could tell this wasn't going to be a sugar-coated Hallmark moment. Caitlin has always led the charge with her sharp wit and signature humor, throwing a few jabs and setting the tone for what was about to unfold. You could practically hear her saying, "I hope you're ready for the chaos," and oh boy was it coming.
And all we heard that whole week was like, Indiana, they don't get along, you know, all this. And I'm like, great. And then I'm like, this is the most together team I've ever seen.
Is that one of the hardest things for you as a pro now? Just seeing all the narratives like that one, that your team didn't get along and just having to literally ignore it, deal with it, even though you know it's not true?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something you kind of just become used to. It's like people think they know what's going on inside of your locker room, and they just don't. At the end of the day, it's just, you know, the girls that you have in there, and then obviously your coaching staff, and that's all that matters. And
What started as some harmless, playful banter quickly escalated into something much juicier. Caitlin, never one to shy away from a good story, started spilling the tea about everything from her WNBA transition, because let's face it, who wouldn't want to know the real deal behind the headlines, to the behind-the-scenes drama of locker room gossip. And let's not forget the college matchups, where Caitlin, Sue, and Deanna would throw shade at each other with the kind of rivalry that could have fueled a Netflix series. You could tell they'd all had their fair share of remember when we beat them moments, and let's just say the trash talk was as spicy as the three-point shots Caitlin makes.
I can't believe she started off with the reality is coming to me talk. And the fact that they're all laughing about that immediately is good. Straight away. In fact, Taurasi, I thought Caitlin Clark was going to have to mention a reality thing. I was like, Caitlin, please say reality. The first thing Taurasi says is reality is coming to me after the reality is coming.
But as the conversation continued, it was clear this wasn't just about basketball. It was about breaking down those unspoken barriers, the ones that people think exist between the game's greats. Instead of staying on script, these three turned it into something hilarious, raw, and incredibly real. And just when you thought it couldn't get any better, Caitlin dropped a truth bomb that had everyone on the Zoom call trying not to burst out laughing. A year ago, Diana Taurasi, in all her glory as a WNBA legend, threw down the gauntlet to Caitlin Clark with a warning that could have been straight out of a superhero movie. Reality was coming. Diana, the fearless queen of the court, knew what was ahead for the young prodigy. Seasoned, battle-hardened veterans ready to eat her up like a Monday morning coffee. Diana wasn't just throwing shade, she was laying down the truth like only a four-time champion could. Fast forward a year, and let's just say Caitlin didn't just face the challenge. She demolished it with the finesse of a magician pulling rabbits out of a hat.
There's more than just that are coming. What will the league have in store for them when they get there?
Look, SVP, reality is coming.
Okay.
You know, there's levels to this thing, and that's just life. We all went through it.
Of course.
And you see it on the NBA side, and you're going to see it on this side, where, you know, you look superhuman playing against 18-year-olds, but you're going to come with some grown women that have been playing professional basketball for a long time. Not saying that it's not going to translate, because when you're great at what you do, you're just going to get better. But there is going to be a transition period where you're going to have to give yourself some grace as a rookie, and you know, it might take a little bit longer for some people.
Now Diana's got a grin on her face, and in a hilarious twist of irony, hands Caitlin the crown. "Congrats on your retirement. Thank you," she quips, with the kind of respect that speaks louder than any trophy. Talk about eating your words. Except in this case, Diana's eating a whole plate of humble pie, and Caitlin's dining on the finest victory steak. These two have officially entered the respect zone, where egos are checked at the door, and what's left is sheer admiration. Caitlin Clark isn't just hype, she's a force to be reckoned with. So what does this mean for the future of the WNBA?
I think it's a really big thing that Diana Taurasi got on the mic and she said these things about Clark after. It kind of, I don't know if it's going to change the viewpoint of Caitlin Clark from a lot of these old bitter, all these old bitter Bettys that are still in the league and they're still pissed off every time they play.
Deanna recalled their first game against Caitlin in Phoenix, and let me tell you, it was like the NBA Finals on steroids, minus the big guys throwing elbows. The energy in the arena was so electric, it felt like someone had plugged in the entire building. The crowd was roaring like it was their last chance to see a legend in action. For Deanna, it was more than just another game. It was a passing of the torch moment. She was the queen of the WNBA, but Caitlin Clark? She was already shaping up to be the future of the league, and the spotlight was on her now. Diana grinned, saying, "I've been following Caitlin for so long, and to finally play against her, it meant a lot." It was like witnessing the Mona Lisa getting its first touch-up in centuries, but way cooler, and with more three-pointers. And Caitlin? She wasn't about to let this opportunity slip. Her team was down, but she wasn't going down without a fight. She recalled the game in Phoenix with a sly smile, remembering how they pulled off a gutsy comeback. For Caitlin, taking down a legend like Deanna wasn't just a game, it was a career-defining moment. And you know what? She definitely made sure Deanna knew it.
It was amazing. You know, I've been following Caitlin for so long and been watching her college career just in awe, and to be on the court. And, you know, the first game was in Phoenix, and it felt like the last game that was ever going to be played. There was such anticipation. The crowd was going crazy. All the people that came out to see Caitlin and you know, our teams play against each other. It really was an amazing moment. And you talked about how, you know, if you could play against anyone that is this new generation. So I got to cross paths with Caitlin, at least for a couple games. And to me, that meant a lot, you know? Like, we've been doing this for a long time. To see Caitlin do what she does is, I think someone said the other day, I'm like, I want the season to start so I can watch you again.
You were saying what it was like to play against Dee.
Well, I was saying, like, that game in Phoenix, because we only played in Phoenix one time. And it was before Olympic break. Obviously, we had All-Star there too, But
Caitlin Clark isn't just about the game. She's a full-on powerhouse. You'd think she was training for an action movie, not basketball. Caitlin's got the mental toughness of a seasoned philosopher and the physical transformation of someone who might have been accidentally hit by a radioactive protein shake. When a viral off-season photo of her flexing went absolutely wild, Caitlin didn't just give a humble shrug. Oh no, she owned it. Turns out those muscles didn't come from flexing her Instagram game. They came from serious hours in the weight room. And let's be real, she didn't get those biceps by just shooting hoops and eating granola bars. Caitlin's been in there like a wrecking ball, turning every gym session into a mini CrossFit competition. But here's the kicker. It's not all about flexing. Oh no. She's been adding moves that are downright disrespectful to defenders. A deadly mid-range shot? Check. A floater that seems to defy gravity? Oh, you bet. Finishing through contact like she's an NFL running back? You better believe it. Caitlin's not just working to stay on top, she's working to leave everyone else eating her dust. And it's safe to say, she's coming for that crown, and probably a few ribs along the way.
And Diana Taurasi did also ask her what she's been up to in the off season. They kind of made some funny jokes about her guns and the viral picture that has pretty much, I think, everybody has seen. And Caitlin mentions that she's working on her mid-range and her floater, as is totally evident from the workout videos that the Indiana Fever have released.
There's the viral picture that went around showing off your guns. Everyone's wondering, have you been hitting the weight room? Was it the camera angle? What happened?
How did you do that? I've been trying to do that for 20 years.
AI is getting out of control. Come on. But no, I mean, just honestly trying to get stronger.
What are you doing in the off-season working on your game?
You're trying to get stronger, like a lot of time in the weight room, and it's like something like I kind of enjoy, so it's been pretty easy for me to like spend time in there. And
The next WNBA season is fast approaching, and Caitlin Clark is stepping up to the plate with a revamped team and the weight of high expectations on her shoulders. With a new head coach calling the shots and key veteran players like Natasha Howard and Dewana Bonner joining the mix, Caitlin's confidence is oozing. Though, let's be honest, when doesn't she exude confidence? She's practically the human embodiment of, I've got this. But here's the kicker. She's got 7 new teammates, a jam-packed preseason schedule, and basically no time to bond with her squad. Talk about being thrown into the fire. Still, Caitlin's not sweating it. She's too busy thinking of ways to carry her team to the top while casually draining threes from a mile away. When asked about her chances, Caitlin casually drops the line, "We should be pretty good," which, in her case, probably means she's already penciled in a championship ring for herself. Her work ethic alone screams undefeated. But when you pair that with a laser-sharp focus and a ridiculous skill set, Caitlin's ready to take the league by storm. Let's just hope the competition can keep up. Can they? Probably not. But that's what makes Caitlin Clark, well, Caitlin Clark.
Why you added Natasha Howard, who Sue knows really well, Dewana Bonner, which I know really well, Sophie Cunningham. I mean, it seems like, you know, from the outside, this roster's ready to compete now, which is easy for us to say. We know there's a process to get there, but like when you see that and you see those names come in, what does that make you feel like?
Oh, well, I mean, obviously on paper we have a really good team, but you know, you only have, I mean, we start training camp I think on the 27th, and then like we have a back-to-back of preseason games on May 3rd and May 4th. So it's like you have a very short amount of time to put that together, and 7 new pieces, and whether we carry 11 or 12, like it's more than half of our roster. Like that's, you know, that's a hard thing within itself, but we should be pretty good. And like, I'm excited about it. I think what we needed was, you know, we added a lot more experience. Like in the playoffs, we just didn't have that. We were a young group. Even Kels, like obviously with being with the Fever during her entire career, she hasn't really had the opportunity to play.
Scene 6. Mutual respect with Paige Bueckers. Caitlin Clark wasn't just full of praise for her own squad. She practically turned into a full-blown fan club for Paige Bueckers. When asked about her peer, Caitlin couldn't stop gushing. It was like watching someone talk about their favorite sibling, if that sibling could dribble a basketball while breaking ankles. Caitlin, as serious as ever, said Paige's poise was something you need coming into the WNBA. But, let's be real, she sounded like a proud older sister. She was basically laying the groundwork for a Paige for President campaign. Caitlin didn't just casually compliment Paige either. She hit us with Paige's calm, mature presence on the court, a statement that could double as an ad for the world's most zen basketball player. Caitlin's words practically had a soundtrack of wind chimes and peaceful waterfalls in the background.
And you know, Connecticut plays a lot like you guys did, undersized, spread the wealth, move it around, and they're pushing the pace, and South Carolina doesn't like it. Caitlin, you had an amazing rookie season. Like, you just blew everyone out of the water. When you watch Paige play and you see her in the next level, what are the things that obviously she's going to take to the WNBA and it's going to translate instantly? And what are the things that, you know, it takes you a couple games to get used to?
I think her poise, like, that's something you need coming into the W. It like all hits you so fast. Is like you're moving to a new city, you're trying to understand new teammates, you have a new coach, while you're trying to live up to all these expectations. And I think that's like one of the greatest things about her game is just her poise and her maturity, and nothing ever seems to faze her. And, you know, it's just always the same. She's always the same constant leader. So I think it'll be that for her, but also like she can score at all 3 levels. Like she finishes well around the rim. Her mid-range game is some of the best I've honestly ever seen. And, you know, obviously she can score from the 3-point line too, so.
But hold on, Caitlin wasn't done. She wasn't going to let Paige off the hook that easily. She went in deep. Paige can score at all 3 levels, Caitlin said, like she was giving us a preview of some next-level basketball wizardry we've never seen before. Honestly, if Paige Bueckers' basketball skills were a Netflix series, Caitlin would be the hype woman in every trailer. Then, just to make sure the hype was legit, Caitlin added, "She's got one of the best mid-range games I've ever seen. Yeah, Caitlin, we get it. Paige is basically the Shaq of the mid-range, and we've all been sleeping on it." Paige isn't just shooting hoops. She's out here rewriting the entire playbook. No wonder Caitlin's ready to hand over the keys to the WNBA kingdom. She's got faith in Paige, and clearly, she's not the only one.
She can play point guard, but she can also play off the ball. I think that'll be an interesting dynamic with Arike, obviously. We all know.
Deanna Taurasi, with her signature mischievous grin, couldn't resist poking fun at Caitlin about the infamous All-Star game. "That game's a trap," she teased, knowing all too well how the pressure can get to the best of them. But Caitlin, with the grace and poise of a seasoned pro and maybe a touch of sarcasm, shot back a smile and said, "I had a great time." You could almost hear the underlying message. "Yeah, I handled it like a boss." Even with the playful banter, there was an unmistakable vibe of respect, like an older sibling giving their younger counterpart a gentle nudge into the big leagues. But let's not kid ourselves. Caitlin's journey is far from your typical rookie enters the league storyline. She's been absolutely crushing it, breaking records, taking names, and making every doubter eat their words like they were an overcooked WNBA game snack. The All-Star moment was just another chapter in her inevitable rise to superstardom. And you know what? She might just be the person who flips the script in a way that even the legends like Taurasi would want to be a part of. This isn't just a passing phase. This is Caitlin Clark, and she's just getting started.
The reality was that Clark was great in the WNBA, but the Fever were eliminated, obviously, in their first round series. And one thing Clark emphasized when talking to the two WNBA legends is that the team lacked experience. She did discuss how they added a lot of that, and that was probably the most important thing that they added in the offseason. Not to mention the coach, who she praised in Stephanie White, who she said is one of the best basketball minds she's ever been around. She also addressed that viral photo and discussed how she's tried to add strength so that she could finish through contact and work on the mid.
And while it was all fun and games for the moment, let's not ignore the fact that this wasn't just a casual interview. This was a reminder, drenched in humor, of course, of just how far Caitlin Clark has come. In a league that's witnessed generations of trailblazers, Caitlin is already carving her own niche, leaving a trail of defenders in her wake and making history with every dribble. Her future? Oh, it's glowing. If you think this is impressive, just wait until you see what's next. Diana Taurasi and Caitlin Clark might be on opposite sides of their careers, but their mutual respect? Oh, that's as loud and clear as a buzzer beater at the buzzer berm. Diana, the queen of clutch moments, has officially handed over the throne, and guess who's sitting pretty? Caitlin Clark, who's not just ready to take the reins, she's about to break them in half with a 3-meter from half court. I mean, Diana's out here saying Caitlin is the new face of women's basketball, and that's not just a passing compliment. It's a bold proclamation that says, step aside, old guard. This new era's got style, swagger, and a shot that could make Steph Curry sweat.
It's amazing, what Caitlin's been able to do in her short career so far has just been nothing short of remarkable. And the one thing that I really love about her, she loves the game. You can tell she's put the work in. And even, throughout, her short WNBA career, it's been a lot of pressure, a lot of things thrown at her. And, she keeps showing up and keeps getting better every single game. So her future's...
With her fearless leadership and jaw-dropping skills, she's not waiting for her time. She's making it. The world of women's basketball has officially entered a new era, and Caitlin Clark is here to remind us that greatness isn't just a passing moment, it's a revolution in the making. The future of basketball is in stellar hands, and Caitlin Clark is the one at the wheel, taking us on a wild ride to greatness. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe. More videos are on screen now.